Hi guys, I'm back from my holiday and I'm here to do your weekly horoscope for Monday the 25th of April going through until Sunday the 1st of May 2022. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be back and to be with you today. I had a really good time. I went to see my sister in Florida for 2 weeks and it was lovely. Let's see what this week has to offer you in terms of the astrological energy and what you'll be working with. So on Monday the 25th, the important thing about this week is that on Saturday, the 30th of April, we have a new moon in Taurus, but it's not just a new moon, it's the second new moon that we've got in the month of April. So those are known as black moons, and I'll make a separate video on it. But a new moon usually is a time to set intentions and to see what you want to do in future and to plan ahead and to say, this is what's important to me. A black moon amplifies all of that, and it really allows you to make a lot of progress if you want to start something new. But then not only is this a black moon, second new moon in the month, it's also a solar eclipse. And the effect of solar eclipses last for about 6 months. And I feel that this one is about something in the public sphere being understood and learned and things softening a little bit. So I'll go into more detail when I make this video on the eclipse. But starting with Monday, the 25th of April, we've got the moon going into Pisces at 12:15 in the afternoon. That's a really nice placement. The moon is what makes you feel at ease and what you can naturally tune into. Pisces is a very gentle energy. It's spiritual. It's in the element of water. It's about contemplating the future in a sense of what's the bigger picture here and what's next for me. It's kind of being philosophical about the whole thing, or not just philosophical, but just trying to understand the purpose of your experience and what it's all about. Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune is the outer planet of love and beauty and love for humanity, like love for others as a species, and having respect for other people's life. So with the moon being in Pisces, it gives you this great sense of everything's going to be okay in the end. I have value as a human being, as a spiritual being, having a human experience. I want to be creative. I want to share my experience with other people. And because you're so tuned into these kind of qualities, you also get a lot more back. So it's easier to read other people intuitively. You get a lot of hits. You're tapped into kind of healing energies because that goes hand in hand with spirituality, and so does creativity. So anything that is about any of those things, healing, expressing your true self, being able to connect with another human being in a really meaningful way. All of those things are heightened on Monday, the 25th of April. And with that said, it then becomes unlikely that there's a huge amount of conflict or misunderstanding, right? Because you have a love for other people, it's likely that that's going to be returned. The Pisces moon then conjuncts Mars in Pisces and it sextiles the sun in Taurus. That's kind of interesting because I've just spoken about the Pisces moon. A conjunction is when two planets sit right on top of each other and they blend their energies together. And Mars rules the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, which is a fire sign, the ram. Let's get things done. Let's get things moving. I want to move ahead. And it's in the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. So Mars, being the planet of ambition and drive, is very much literally out of its element in the sense that I'm not so interested in competing or getting things squared off or making a lot of progress. I'm interested in understanding the purpose of my being here and what it's all about. So think of the soldier at the ashram trying to look for meaning. That's what I get from this. The sextile with the sun in Taurus. The sun in Taurus, I really love this time of year. Taurus is an earth sign. It's very much about, it's a fixed sign, so it doesn't change very much. But what it's very good at is taking what already exists and making it beautiful. So astrology is based on the northern hemisphere. If you think about May and nature, all the flowers are coming out. People are falling in love with each other. There's the sweaters are coming off. You're able to enjoy the warm weather. And it's really about rebirth, and it's about this sense of hope for the future and their new beginnings here. So the moon and the Mars conjunction, they really allow you to look at the bigger picture. And if you've been trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do with my life? What's my experience been all about? How can I implement that in future or make changes in future that really allow me to have a very different experience? How can I do all of this? What is it all about? What are my gifts and talents? How can I translate those into practical action? And then it's perfect with the sun in Taurus because it's you then, the little flower that's opening its petals, and it's saying, do you know what? I have grown and I've had this whole experience of nurturing myself and getting bigger, and now it's time to deliver all of that, to open up to the world and to share parts of myself that I want to share. So the sun in Taurus allows you to kind of beautify yourself, but because it is an earth sign, it's like you're taking all the spiritual understanding and insight that you've got, and you're pressing. It's like what are those things called? A screen print, right? You're taking an image and you're imposing it onto something else. So with the screen print, I suppose. What I mean is you have this wooden frame with a mesh on it, right? You put it on a piece of paper, on a piece of fabric, and the mesh has a pattern in it. You put the paint on, you take a little squeegee and you push it down, and then that image becomes superimposed on the paper or the fabric. And that's what you're able to do here on Monday. You're able to find a way to create yourself, if you know what I mean by that. I hope you do. So if the job hasn't fit, if the living environment hasn't fit, if the version of you that the world knows, maybe you're not happy with that anymore. Maybe you've understood something about yourself that's important and that you want to express. All of those things are supported on Monday. So changes to career, living situation, personal appearance, living environment, long-term relationships even, you're able to see the value and the meaning in it and how you can maximize that and minimize the stuff that you don't like, and to change gears. Which is interesting because the sun in Taurus, I said a moment ago, doesn't like change, but it allows you to take what is and to change it in the sense that you're perfecting it, you're making it better, you're making it work for you. Okay, excuse me. Tuesday, the 26th of April, we've got the moon still in Pisces. So you're still intuitive, you're able to see the bigger picture. It now conjuncts Venus, the planet of love and beauty, that's in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces. And that's kind of important because Venus and Neptune are similar. Venus is the personal planet of love and beauty. It affects you personally because it's a personal planet. The Neptune planet is an outer one, and that's about society again. But ultimately, they're both about love and connection. So the fact that these two are sitting together really means that we're in a period of much greater harmony and balance at the moment, and compassion. But then also, it doesn't appear on Tuesday, but Jupiter is hovering around as well. Jupiter is the lucky planet, and it makes everything bigger. So in new relationships, romance coming into your life where there hasn't been any, love for yourself or for things or other people or places where there hasn't been any love. The conjunction of Venus and Neptune in Pisces with the moon in Pisces means that your heart widens and becomes this juicy, amazing thing that really loves a lot of people and places and things in its life. And if you've found that there's been a lack of love, it becomes very easy on Tuesday to discover what it is that makes your heart skip a beat and that fills you with excitement. It sextiles Uranus in Taurus, and that's interesting as well because, like the sun in Taurus the previous day, Uranus is change and transformation. It's like lightning hitting the tower in the tarot. And it's in Taurus, so it's fundamentally conflicted because Taurus likes to maintain the status quo. But Uranus in Taurus allows you to adapt and to perfect and to get things to open up and to blossom and to bloom. And we've got even more kind of spiritual influence, loving, positive spiritual influences working on Tuesday that allow you to determine, this is what I love, this is what I want. And then with Uranus and Taurus, you'll be willing to make the changes to bring that thing into your life more consistently. So it's like me, I've just been on holiday in Florida, right? It's like me saying, oh, I love the holiday. This is where I want to be. I feel a connection. So I'm now going to go back. I'm going to make changes so that I can move, so that I can bring more of that great feeling into my life. Just as an example, it doesn't mean I'm actually moving. Okay, Mercury's in Taurus. That's nice too, because Mercury is the communication planet. In Taurus, it's very grounded and it's very focused on simple understanding and creativity. It's not so interested in trying to articulate the misappropriation of gender ideals or, this. It doesn't operate on that level. It says, here's an ice cream cone that tastes really nice. It's bringing me a lot of joy. I'm sitting in the sunshine. That's what's being communicated to me, like the simple pleasures in life. That's really interesting too, because like if you're looking at astrology, Scorpios are always like, oh, Scorpios are the intense ones and they're sexually intense. And that's, to me, that often gets confused because it wants to know that it matters on an emotional level. It wants to know that other people love it. It's not so much about a sexual connection, I don't think. It's about the intensity of the interaction between you and another person. But Taurus is actually very focused on physical connection and experiencing things that are intensely felt in the body. So Mercury in Taurus then means that the world's going to speak to you quite loudly, but also that you can create and you can express your feelings very clearly. And then Mercury sextiles Jupiter in Pisces, which again expands the whole thing. It's in Pisces, the sign of spirituality and creativity being downloaded. So if you are a creative person, or again, you want to adapt and change your life, Tuesday is amazing. So we've got the potential for great things, one, to come in, and then the ability on a practical level to implement those changes and to say, this is what I want to create for myself. And that's a really interesting message, because I think when we're younger, we expect other people to do things for us. And it's the norm. And then when you're out in the world by yourself, it's kind of like, okay, if I want my life to be a certain way, I'm going to have to make it be that way. I can listen to my guidance and see what's going to work best, but ultimately I'm going to have to take some action here, right? And Tuesday is one of those very grown-up days where you're able to make those changes that you decide are important and good. You don't need the approval or support of anybody else. Wednesday the 27th, we've got the Pisces moon forming a conjunction with Venus, Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces, and it sextiles Mercury in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. So that's a lot. So the trend this week is going up in the sense of a spiritual perspective and the ability to translate that into practical action. Wednesday is now really the top of the mountain in that regard, because we've got Venus and Neptune still and the Pisces moon conjunction like we had the day before. But now Jupiter comes into the mix and it takes the whole thing and it puts a magnifying lens over it to make it appear much bigger. So your inner life is important. This is a good day for self-care or to discover again something about yourself that you love and that you want to maximize. The Mercury in Taurus sextile means the translation factor of I think it, therefore I'm going to do it. That's heightened even more. But Pluto is transformation and change, and Capricorn's the sign of the worker. So it's one, you're able to change things, you want to change things. But now on Wednesday, the actual process of affecting change becomes pleasurable. I want my efforts to pay off. If I roll up my sleeves and do something, I want to see an outcome. So make sure you do some kind of brainstorming, daydreaming, contemplation before Wednesday, because you're going to be so proactive and so effective that it's a good idea to actually have certain things that you want to work towards, rather than just any old whim that comes in. Mercury is in Taurus again on Wednesday, and it sextiles Jupiter in Pisces. So if you're an artist, you're next level up to a great artist in your field. If you're a leader, you have some sort of flash of brilliance where you express that and you really inspire the people you're leading. It takes it up a notch. The moon enters Aries at 6:10 in the evening. So now things shift from I'm trying to understand and I'm connecting with this greater sense of love and purpose. And on Wednesday, it's all about, okay, what am I going to do about it? Venus in Pisces conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. Oh, so if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, this is really the perfect day for it. Because on a spiritual level, you're just magnetically pulled to what it is you want and need. And if you take any action around that, you're not going to go wrong. And also, if you're being pursued on Wednesday, if someone expresses an interest in you, and the important thing is it doesn't, or that person doesn't appear to be what you usually go for, or your type, or whatever it may be, then be open-minded to that, because the universe wants to surprise you here with something surprisingly good and effortless. Thursday, the 28th of April, we've got Mercury in Taurus now forming a trine with Pluto in Capricorn. So now you've turned your back a little on the spiritual side of things and trying to suss things out. And now you're in worker mode. You're like a tank moving forward. You're really just marching on and you're saying, I need to make some changes for me. I need to perfect my working life or my environment or the way I eat or treat my body or my physical experience on this planet needs to alter. So it's change for the sake of change. So we're going up and up and up most of the week. And now Thursday, we kind of break through a ceiling into a place where it doesn't matter what I want to change anymore. It takes it to the extreme. And now it's like, I want change for the sake of it. So be careful around that on Thursday, because whenever we go extreme like this, you can burn bridges, for instance, just for the hell of it, or you can move just because it's a whim. And then often you have to kind of undo those things. The Aries moon is going to encourage you even more to do that kind of stuff, because the Aries moon says momentum, please, and it conjuncts Chiron in Aries. So there's a fake promise here on Thursday the 28th that says, if you make changes, good or bad, that's healing to you. That's empowering. And I mean, we all know that not every change is empowering. Making a decision to change banks, maybe something you want to do, but then if you've changed banks and you end up with a bunch of charges on the other side, then it's like, oh, you know what I mean? So not all change is good change. And it's important that you use your experience and you think about certain actions before you gallop off into something else just because it's different. On Thursday, what I think, if you do have to make changes or if you feel compelled to change in some way, looking at the practical stuff, your work, living situation, the way things look, that's going to work best. Because then you'll have something to show for it. Friday, the 29th of April, Pluto goes retrograde. Pluto, again, is an outer planet. Most astrologers, myself included, with the retrogrades, we look at the personal planets. Because that happens a few times a year, and it really is significant. But with the outer planets, they spend a lot of time in retrograde. And the easiest way I feel to interpret it is if a planet is direct, then the influences are felt in the real world. If it's retrograde, it feels more internal. So Pluto, transformation and change in Capricorn, work, going retrograde. Now you go inward about this is what I want to work on, even if the job doesn't exist in the real world yet. You know, if you have a talent for reading people intuitively when you touch their shoes or their elbows or whatever, and no one does that, but you know you have that talent, then it's up to you. And it's an opportunity for you on Friday to create that thing in the world. And then to let other people pick up on it and then to tell them what it's all about and to engage with it. You know, the thing I got, though, intuitively as well on Friday the 29th about Pluto going retrograde, and with the solar eclipse happening the next day in Taurus, is that I feel something is understood by the powers that be, by the people in charge as such. And something cools off. Something that's been out of control and chaotic and difficult now calms. It becomes a little bit more routine and knowing what's going on and a lack of drama. All of those things are now supported by the astrology, and that's what kind of people, what people are going to crave: solidity and structure. The Aries moon sextiles Saturn in Aquarius, which is great again, because it's like people and you in connection to society and what's understood to be right and good come together in this unified moment of let's all learn this and let's understand it so we don't have to repeat it again. So there's a common sense entering the chart, and it's not just harmony and romance and love in terms of I have a personal connection with another person. It's about I want the world and people on this planet to have more structure and solidity and routine. And let's do something about that. If you're an activist, if you want to affect change for other people, Friday is a great day for it. The Aries moon also squares Pluto in Capricorn, which is now retrograde. So it's not so much about asking what can other people do to make this change happen. It's like, how can I slot into it and what can I individually do? Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? Like, what each person can change the world, and we're like, yeah, well, that may be true for some people, but it's not always been true for me. But on Friday, you're really able to tap into that in a hopeful way that says, do you know what? I am able. If I want something to change on this planet, I'm here for a reason, same way everyone else is. I may want to do something about this. And it is a great opportunity to have a huge influence, regardless of whether you're a writer or a political activist or a psychologist or an academic or whatever. If you have a voice, if you have the ability to put something out there and you want that to be picked up so that things alter, it can happen. You can do it on Friday. If you look at the last 30 years, so much has changed socially. Things that, I grew up in the 90s, right? So for instance, politically, because we are all creatures who live in this society, right? So whether we're into politics or not, they affect us. And often, anyway, I don't want to go on. Sensitive people often don't get involved in public arguments, which politics can be sometimes, I suppose. And there's a question of, if I put myself out there, then of course that's going to be political anyway, because that's how a society and culture understands things. So if you haven't wanted to stigmatize yourself for whoever you are, and you're like, I don't want the labels, then instead of saying, I don't want anything to do with this, you can be yourself and adapt the label and make it your own and claim back your power on it. Mercury enters Gemini on Friday as well, so communication is really supported. You're going to be articulate, able to get your point across, so please do if you feel the need. Then on Saturday the 30th, we do have this black moon. So the moon, first of all, enters Taurus at 19 minutes past 2 in the morning. Then it's a new moon in Taurus here on the 30th of April. The other new moon in April was on the 1st, and that was in Aries. And so this is a black moon. And it's like with the numbers, right? If you get the number 4, then it's a message that listen to your guidance and take action. If it's 44, then it's double that. If it's 444, it's like you're really getting something here, listen to it and do something about it. It's a major opportunity. And the black moon is similar. It's you can start something new. In Taurus, you can affect change on a physical level. And any seeds you sow now or plant now are going to grow much more quickly and bigger than at other times. The Taurus moon also conjuncts the Sun and Uranus in Taurus. So your identity and the chaos planet are all about adapting things and altering them in order to affect more solidity and structure moving forward. So it's like you're biting the bullet now so that things calm down later. You're engaging with the change and the chaos in order for things to settle in the coming months, weeks and months. The Taurus moon also sextiles Mars in Pisces. So Mars is still doing spiritual kind of reconnaissance work. And with the Taurus moon connection, again, the ability to translate between what you're experiencing up here and putting it into a real world sense is supported. Venus in Pisces conjunct Jupiter in Pisces. So love and harmony and a new beginning when it comes to your relationships, all of that is supported by this black moon. So if you want to change your job, if you want to get creative, if you want to be in love or create a new relationship or new relationships, plural, to join some sort of a club or community. Saturday is really fabulous for anyone who wants to make their life bigger in that sense. Another thing that I've realized going through life is that you can't isolate yourself. It goes against a human law or a spiritual law. Whether you're the most brilliant person in the world or the least brilliant or whatever, having a support system you may think this is stating the obvious, but for me it wasn't obvious for a long time. Having a support network or friends or a community or people you can just talk to is as important as having a roof over your head and eating food. It really is. So if that's lacking in your life and you want to bring more connection into it, and you find that scary or difficult, or you've never done it before, so you're like, how do I go about this? This black moon and the extreme potent energy of it is exactly what you need to get started for the first time. You know, if you're 60 years old and you've never had friends, then unless something drastic happens, you're not just going to go out on Monday morning and say, okay, I'm going to make a friend at the pharmacy this morning. Something significant has to shift so that you say, okay, I've done it this way for 60 years. I'm going to do it differently now moving forward. And that's what this black moon eclipse does. Sunday, the 1st of May. Wow, okay. Taurus moon conjunct Uranus in Taurus, squares Saturn in Aquarius, and sextiles Neptune in Pisces. So even here on Sunday, you're willing to embrace change for the promise of a more solid and quiet future. With Saturn, you're able to learn from other people, but also this being part of a community, you're able to impose yourself and your views and your opinions on the community you're part of to create a balanced view of things. Let's say there's a book club, and everyone in it is in their 40s, straight, married, children. You join the book club and you're not married or straight or 40. Yeah, you're a 30-year-old gay man, single. You read a book you read some sort of a book, and there are gay themes in that book. And because you're in the book club, you're able to talk about them and really pinpoint them and say, this is my experience, my take on these themes. The other people in that book group may not have such a personal experience of that theme. And for you being part of it and speaking up and being different allows you to teach other people and to create greater understanding in those people then when they meet others who may be different. You see what I mean? So being different, even though it feels uncomfortable at times, it's really essential to share that with others who may not have to think about those themes, because you're adding something to the public consciousness, to the greater consciousness at large, that then allows things to become normal and accepted and then to affect real change. The Neptune in Pisces energy still gives you this positive view of other people and faith that things can work out. And that's really important. If I approach anything and I say, oh, this isn't going to work anyway, then it probably won't. But with this energy, it's like, of course, this is going to happen. So it then allows you to deal with difficulties if they do arrive. Venus in Pisces sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. I want something about my experience on this planet to alter. I want to experience more love. I want things to be more beautiful, more satisfying, to bring me more joy. And if we're going after more, those are good things. Okay, so that's what I get for you this week. It's a really, the connection of Neptune and Jupiter and Venus, I may want to look at this in more depth, because it's here for a few more weeks, and it really is, like we had Saturn and Mars and Venus, in Aquarius recently over the past few months. That was a big thing, and it created a lot of similar energy, and it was kind of challenging, whereas this is really beautiful and amazing. So I may make a video on that. Just leave it with me to see if I do that. But I think it may be worth talking about, because it is such a hopeful, nice kind of era that we're in now, and we may as well be aware of it and then make the most of it. It's not just spring, it's like spring squared. all the things that I associate with spring, like the flowers coming out and love and the Easter bunny and all those nice, positive, hopeful kind of pastel colored things in life. That's what, and not just in a cheesy way, in a genuine, loving way. So yeah, I might look into that. I hope you have a wonderful week. It's really nice to be back and to be able to do these horoscopes for you again. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch by my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. I'm just thinking in my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology. So if you have any questions about your work, where you want to live, relationships, finance, activism, anything like that, or any questions at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. Hit subscribe and share the video online. It's so funny, I say that in every video I do. Please like and share, but just 2 weeks and you forget. So please do that. Helps keep me going to have the videos shared and for you guys to subscribe and stuff. I hope this has given you something to work with and to go on. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you for the daily tower readings, and then watch out for the video on the eclipse, and then possibly the other one on Neptune and Venus and stuff that I mentioned. All the best. Speak to you soon.